Greetings, friends and fellow cigar box guitar enthusiasts. Del Puckett here, and I've never made a St. Patrick's themed cigar box guitar. Not yet, anyway. So I got some green paint, and I got a cigar box, and I figured, what the heck? Always after me, Lucky Charms! So you remember how I distressed this one here, right? The coal caster. I sanded it, and then I attacked it. Well, first of all, I stained it, and then I sanded it, and then I attacked it with some charcoal, and I got that very rustic vibe. I think I'll do the same thing with this Lucky Charms guitar. Okay, so first off, right off the bat, everything has been painted with this. I say painted, stained with this Walnut Stain. So brown on green. I can't touch it to spin it up here, so you can't see it. Sorry, but it's okay. It's not that pretty. So I'm gonna let it dry a little bit, and then I'm gonna hit it with some steel wool and start getting some lines in it and whatnot. I do have a dedicated 3/8 inch drill bit that's dedicated for the jack right here. And it's not quite thick enough, so I get a little round file. Give it a little action. And then, sure enough, voila! Like a glove. My dogs, you can hear him crying in the background. It's because I gave him a bone, and all he wants to do is take it outside and bury it. Check this out. That's it, go bury it behind all my junk. I know you want to take it outside. Sorry, dog. I also have a dedicated wrench. That's the perfect size for these little nuts on the jack. So I don't have to go hunting for it every time. I just keep it right on the shelf with the jacks. The drill and the wrench hide on the shelf with the jacks. And I went ahead and painted the inside green. Also, you can't really tell, but I'll show you here. Peekaboo. I didn't get down here because you can't really see it if you look in there. So I'm being strategic with my green paint. So don't forget, get your parts from CBGitty.com. I have a link in the video description below. If you use that link, I get a little bit of a commission, which is a win-win-win-win-win for everybody. You get good parts, I get a little bit of a commission. We help out Ben, Gitty Baker, and together we can solve global warming. So in this case here, I am using these medium frets, tuners, of course the jack, and a piezo. CBGitty puts the yay in piezo. And that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, my saw. And I do use this saw for pretty much everything. I have 3 of them. Brand new one for the backup. You can even build birdhouses out of this thing if you want. But it has the right thickness for the kerf for fret, so you can use this to fret. But I use it to cut my notch. Oh yeah, that's another thing I got from the CBGitty is the little template for my notch. It even says CBGitty right there. Check it out. And so that's for my notch. And I also use it for centering of my sound holes. I totally forgot to mention, I also get my strings from CBGitty and my fretting templates. Got me a little "And We Know" Christmas ornament to match the shirt. So where we're at now is I went ahead and I got a green stick. Went ahead and glued up the heel and created a little scarf. Oops. I also got some wood filler and filled up a little knot hole here. So I'll let that dry and then sand it. I also got the fretboard slotted and stained. So it'll be a nice dark stain on the fretboard as well. Then I took a file to these corners here, all the corners, and then dark stained it again on the back and the corners. So that's where we're at now. We shall resume tomorrow. Since I'm wearing the "And We Know" swag, figured I'd show you my hat. This was a Christmas present. So I went ahead and glued up the fretboard. I stained the fretboard and then glued it to the neck. So that's where I'm at now. I did sand the little knot there that I filled in with the wood filler. So now I think maybe some wings here, and then put the frets on. Oh yeah, I also cut back here for the back angle as well. And I'll cut this off here, the bottom part here, cut this off so it fits nicely into the box. So this little part here that I cut off for the back angle, I'm gonna use this. I'll just cut it right down the middle and then use that for the wings on either side. I also took some wood filler and filled in all the little cracks here and there on both sides. I'll go back and sand it. So I went ahead and glued the shims on the back, glued the shim on the front, and then re-sprayed paint everything green so that when you looked in the sound holes, everything would be green. That's the first thing. The second thing is I went ahead and glued those wings on here. Now, if you look real close, you can see that there's still, I don't want to say sharp edges, but there's a little gap right here on both sides. So I'm going to take it to the drill press and put in that little round sanding disc thing, you know, and then make these contours nice and curvy, so when your hand is over here, it's just, you know, it's done right. I want this part to be done right. Helps if I tighten down the that's not good. There you go. Where's my big wrench? All right, take two. Short order of that. My gosh, look at that. That's exactly what I wanted right there. You guys remember how I made this thing here? I took one of those circular saws and just put some double-sided sticky tape and then put some sandpaper around the edge of it, and it, my gosh, that works freaking awesome. But it also works good to take off the extra glue from the seam from whenever you glue the fretboard to the neckwood. You know that little seam right there? Man, it makes it perfect right here. Like I can feel right here, there's like a little edge. Of course, it does take off the stain, but I'll go back and stain it. But right there, it's so smooth now. It's like you can't even tell. Say, what on earth are you doing? I'm spray painting this neck green. Not entirely, just lightly. Then I'm going to sand it off and then stain it. Dark stain it, and then rinse and repeat. I'm going to make the fretboard front a little darker as well. Yeah. You probably notice all these gaps in this fretboard here. It's because this is the blues scale with one extra note here. So I have the 0 fret, 2nd fret, 3rd, 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 22, and 24. So what that equates to is obviously the open. This is the major 2nd, minor 3rd. This is the 4th, the flat 5, and the 5. This is the flat 7 and the root. And I jump up here to the minor 3rd, to the 4th, flat 5, 5, and flat 7, back to the root again. So, yeah. So it sounds really cool, especially when you put your finger on it and go, whoa. All right, guys, I got to shake a leg. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, welcome to the next day. I've done a lot of work off camera. For that, I do apologize. But a lot of this stuff, you've seen it before, where I do the fretting and then the dressing of the frets. If you want to see more of that stuff, be sure to binge watch my masterclass video series. I'll put a link up here. But really, all you got to do is just put in Puckett cigar box guitar, and then whatever your question is, whether it's fretting or electronics or pickups or tuning or strings or whatever, type that into the YouTube search bar and you'll get a plethora of videos concerning that, because I have seriously hundreds of videos on all of these topics. But I did want to show you kind of what I did on this guy here since the last little video clip. One of the things is I drilled the tuner holes, and I used 2 different size bits for that. I used the 1/4 inch for the main shaft of the tuner, and then for these little bushings, I used like a 3/8. And then put a little bit of glue, wood glue, on this bushing here, and then put it in place and let it dry. The other thing we did is that I did sand all this stuff down so everything's flat on this surface here. And then I also put a little bit of like wood filler on some of the little cracks that I had up there, and then sanded it smooth again. I did a little bit of wood filler here, just so that it would be nice and seamless in between the fretboard and the headstock. And then spray painted everything with that green spray paint. And like I said, I just lightly sprayed it. I didn't want to like deep stain it. And then I sanded it again, steel wooled it, and then hit it with that dark stain, the walnut stain again. So I did the same thing for the neck. And look at all the different variations of tone I have within the neck. I have darks, I have greens, I have lights. So that was exactly what I was after, just this multi-toned, multi-textured feel. Now I'm going to probably still go back and sand it in steel wool just to get it nice and smooth. But right now I was at this stage of the game, I was pretty much just concerned with the color. And I love the way that matches right here between these two. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, on both sides there. It's just an awesome match, in my opinion. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, so I did line everything up perfectly with using the square. I use two methods to line this up here. I square this up here on both sides, just to make sure that I'm perpendicular, because nobody wants a crooked neck. So that's one method. And the other method is to get the little centering tool and come on the bottom side while it's open. And then just like you're gonna use it for the notch, just make sure that it's centered on the bottom side. So there's various methods. You can, of course, just eyeball it if you like. But I like to double check, triple check, quadruple check, just to make sure that it's nice and straight. The other thing is this piezo hole here. So I want to recommend, if you guys aren't doing this, just to give it a try. You get one of these roundy type bits here. Just take out, and I take out, quite a bit. It's a little over 1/8 of an inch deep, because I want to embed that piezo in there. And then I give it a little notch here for the wires to come out. And then a lot of times I just go directly to the jack. I don't even go to a potentiometer or not. This way it's just like the shortest distance possible from the pickup to the output here, and then to your amplifier. So I want to encourage you guys to give that a try, because in my opinion, just my opinion, I've never heard piezos sound better. You don't even need a preamp. Seriously, they sound like an authentic, legit cigar box guitar when you do that. Again, that's just my opinion, and take it for what it's worth. What else? Oh, I did put the little notches here. I took advantage of this little template here, and I created my little fret spacing template. This doesn't come like this, but I just did this myself. So I just put that on there, put a little ink dot, and then get the little file and file those little notches there. And that's just to hold the strings in place while I bend, because I do a lot of bends and I don't want that string to slide up there. So basically that little notch is just to hold the string in place. What else? That's it. So now let's see here. What now? I think I will solder up the, I will solder up the pickup. So remember the game we're playing, guys? It's called Pick a Card, Any Card. So I have these football cards, and I'm already whittling them down. So I didn't ever shuffle these guys, because it's just hard to shuffle. Have you ever shuffled a football? So they're all still in order, perfectly in order. But I am going to say this. I'm going to say, guys, pick a card, any card. And so I'm going to randomly, so I'm not going to look. Ready? Watch this here. I'm looking over there. So I have no idea what I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick this one right there. What is it? This is the 6 of Hearts. All right, so this guitar here is going to have the 6 of Hearts. This guitar is going to have some heart. And so what I do here is I trim this up into a square, and then I use it to be the top for my piezo. And then the reason why I use something like this is to keep the sticky from attaching to the top of the thing when I shut it. Right? I don't want the sticky of the hot glue to attach to the top of the box. So I'll show you what I mean. Here's the piezo all soldered up. Now remember to keep the red on the inside, that's the hot, and the ground on the outside. That's very important. And a very short lead. Again, this is just going to go straight to the jack. Now, the very first things first. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you the card after we trimmed it. Looks like a real card. So the hot glue gun has been heating up. I'm going to put a nice generous dollop. Is that the right word? Dollop. It's about the size of a dime. And get little stringy strings from this thing. I'm going to place this thing here in there, and then I'm also going to let these wires come out of that little trench I made. Now, at this stage of the game, you just kind of want to center it in the hole, and then keep it level. And you got to have patience at this stage of the game, because if you take your hand off, it's going to change positions. You got to like hold it in place while that hot glue dries. Again, keeping it centered, up and down, keeping it centered, and then keeping it level so it's not like tilted. And you'll be able to tell when it dries, when it stops wiggling. So that's pretty good right there. I'm actually surprised how quick that dried. Now, I'm going to put hot glue on the top. Now here, you can, I just fill up the hole and I give it just a little bit extra. If you have too much, it's okay. It'll just kind of squeeze out the sides when you close the lid. Now again, I'm using these cards. You can use anything. And I just put it like right over the top. And then close the lid like it would be under normal circumstances. And so what this does is it ensures that you have that piezo directly underneath where that saddle is going to be, as close as possible. So we're about that far away from the saddle, so the vibrations from the string are going to go straight down from the saddle, straight into that piezo, straight out to your amplifier. And again, like I said, the reason why we do that is so that that sticky glue doesn't stick to the top, and so that you can open and close the box, and you're going to still have positive contact. Boom, right there. See, guys, that wasn't so bad, was it? Another real good practice is to get yourself a little mini Marshall. Actually, you can get any amp you want. I just happen to have a little battery powered. I think we got this at Goodwill for $5. But anyhow, I just use it to test things out, right? So I crank this thing up to 11, and then make sure it's going to work. So I think we're good. Okay, so check this out. I have some really good friends of mine who have opened up a cigar shop in Corrales, New Mexico, called Padres. And this guitar here, I'm going to put these stickers. These are stickers. I'm going to put these stickers here on the inside here, so when you look in the sound hole, you'll be able to see their logo and this information. Also, I will put the links to Padres' social medias and all that stuff in the video description below. But I will also have this guitar for sale at a giveaway price, and it will be hanging in Padres Cigars in Corrales, New Mexico. And first come, first serve, man. I'm sure I'm going to price it to sell. So anyhow, so this shout out to these guys, Padres. Thank you guys so much for your friendship, your support, and I hope everything goes well with y'all. Next, I found a piece of poplar, and then I carved it smooth on both sides, and then I hit it with that round bit on the drill press to get those concave edges. And of course, I did put a fret slot in here, and I'll put a fret in here, and then maybe I'll paint it green. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. So you know the drill. You just put a piece of fret wire in there, and then you cut it off. The problem is that I don't know which one of these wire cutters with the green handles. Obviously, you got to use a green handled wire cutter to cut this off since everything on this thing is green. So let's see here. Eeny, Mo, Mini, Meanie. Okay, we went with Meanie here. Here we go. Meanie's not very sharp. Yay, yay. Good thing I'm wearing my safety goggles. Okay, so now we're gonna we call it trim or dress the end of this thing here so that don't cut yourself because it is sharp. I use a grinder, but you can use a Dremel tool, a saw, a file, anything to cut those guys off to get them. You can see there, I got it nice and flush there. I mean, it's pretty good now. But now what I like to do is take off the edges of the frets. Now I got these special files. This is called the Fret Guru. It's got a smooth side and then a teeth side, and then a smooth side, then a teeth side. And I also got this, I got this guy at CBGitty as well. It's got the little concave top and bottom. So I use both of them interchangeably. So the top one here kind of just conveniently just fits over the top, and you just kind of just go up and over. That's how these guys work, and I can feel it that it does a good job. The Fret Guru here, you put the smooth side here. This is the smooth side, and then the tooth side is here. So I'm going to put the smooth side down on the wood, and then the teeth side is on the fret. Okay, so the smooth side is down, and the teeth side is hitting the fret. And then I just go with one motion up and over the top. Up and over the top. And I'll do that for both sides. Up and over the top. So again, I kind of do a little twisty motion. And both of these methods are good methods. Ultimately, you're gonna use your eyes. And fortunately, I got some nice, awesome reading glasses so I can see. You can use a magnifying glass if you like. Ultimately, I just feel it. I'm feeling for any burrs, any sharp edges. And you'll be able to tell right away, because typically with a saddle edge, you're going to be playing and you'll be able to feel it right there. So you might have to go back later and resand it if need be. And I also, just like I do with the frets here, get some fine grit sandpaper. This is like 220 grit. And I just kind of polish that end there to a nice mirror finish. You don't have to do this, but you'll be glad you did. Just because, I mean, you're actually touching this part here, the part of the top that's up here, whenever you do your palm muting and stuff and playing and stuff like that. The last thing you want is a sharp edge there. It's just annoying. We are in the home stretch. I put the Padres sticker right there because, my gosh, look how perfect that is. The other sticker's on the inside, and then I did put my business card in here as well. We got the corners screwed down, the hinge in place, and I opted out of painting the saddle green. I liked it better, the same color as the fretboard, just so that it ties in, you know what I'm saying? It offers a lot of, I think, needed contrast. So it's just gonna look stunning, in my opinion. Next is tuners, and then we're going to string it up, set it up, tune it up, and tear it up. Got the tuners on, and man, I just love the way this green, dark green wood looks. A couple things I wanted to point out here is notice the gears, how all these gears are facing down. Well, when you buy these things, you're gonna buy them, like I said, I get them from the CBGitty here, but see how it says 3 left and 3 right? So there's 2 different orientations. 2 genders, only 2 genders. And you'll see how that they're opposite. Okay, so here's the deal. The reason why you want this bronze gear to be on the downside is because the string is going to be pulling this way. So the string is going to be going that way. And you want so if it's going that way, the bottom of it is going to push together into this gear here. Does that make sense? So if I pull this guy that way, right, then the bottom of the gear is going to get smashed into the little worm gear there. And that's why if you do it the other way around and you pull it, then it's going to be pulling the gears apart. See what I'm saying? If you if I put it this way and I pulled the top that way, then the bottom of it would become separated. So that right there, it's true. It does happen. It's happened to the best of us. So make sure to line up your gears so that the round gear goes down, so that it gets smashed together when that string is pulling this way. I hope that makes sense, and I apologize if it doesn't. One thing I like about these Arturo Fuente boxes is, see this little part right here? Looks like it's my lips. But if you look really close, look at what it says right there. Handmade. Currently, I am in the string up, and after you string it up, then you set it up. That's where I'm at right now. I'm in the setup stage. Now, the very first saddle I made was too short. You can see here that this saddle here is a little bit shorter. I had this saddle, and I was getting buzzing over here at the 2nd and 3rd frets. All the other frets are good, but I was buzzing here. So I was like, oh my gosh, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. So no big deal. I'll just save this guy for the next build. I'll start a saddle collection. So I created another saddle just slightly higher. Now this action is a little bit high. I could probably actually go down a little bit. I'm a little bit nervous now that I had some buzzing over here, but no big deal. I mean, I can still get that. It's part of the dial-in process. But this is what I wanted to talk about in this little video segment here. So see how this guy's like tilted at an angle? It's not straight up and down. And this is what they call a floating bridge. I can actually take this thing and I can scoot it all around, up and down, left and right. And so what you want to do is you want to line up your harmonics here at the 12th fret. You want to make sure that the note, when you fret it, boom, with your finger, is the same as the note that when you hit it open. Now, this is where you need a real good tuner. I use an app called ClearTune. I will take a screenshot of that and I will put it right here so you can recognize it. It costs a couple of bucks. You go to the Apple iTunes store, whatever it is, and download that. It's definitely worth it. I use it all the time for just about everything. But it's perfect for setting up these things. So this one here is tuned to G, D, G. Now, if some of you pointed out, you can come up here to the 17th fret as well, strike a harmonic, and hit a note. And you want to make sure that that is right. If it's not right, then you just adjust this thing back and forth, up and down. Now, if you hit the note open and you fret it and it's flat, that means you need to sharpen it, which means it needs to come up closer, because shortening this string here is going to make it sharper. Now, let's say you struck the note, tuned it up to the tuner, then you put your finger here and it was sharp, then you would need to flatten it, which means you need to make it longer, which means you'd need to pull it back a little bit. Now, this is all subtle. You're going to get to the point where it's like you're like so close and you got to balance this string and that string, and ultimately you want to use your ear. Your ear is going to be the final judge. And it takes a while, man, this whole process, because the strings are stretching and the wood's coming under tension now that it's got the strings on it. So like, there's all these parameters that are involved. It takes a while. You need to have patience. Don't get frustrated. And just play around with it. So what I do is I'll tune it up and I'll just jam on it and then go back and double check it. Oh my gosh, okay, so I tune it up again, set the harmonic again, make sure that I'm sure that it's in the right spot. So right now, like I said, it's tuned to G. Here's the harmonic. Here's the note. Here's the top string. Here's the harmonic. So you can see it's pretty spot on here. Here's the 17th fret, harmonic, note. So I'm confident that we are set up, tuned up and set up. Strung up, tuned up, and set up. So now we're going to tear it up. Before I do that though, I wanted to remove the safety hazards here, because you ever got one of them things in your eye? Yeah, it's not very comfortable. Dude, this thing actually sounds great. Unplugged, oh my gosh, check it out. Okay, we're still stretching. Oh, here's another trick too. You can actually take your string, grab your instrument by the string, right? And let the whole weight of the instrument just balance. You can do this for all the strings, the skinny strings and the fat strings. I'm not saying that this is the best way to do it. It's just, I think it's kind of funny to do that. People are like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can actually pick up a Les Paul from the skinny string like that and freak people out. They're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Those strings are strong, man. You ain't gonna hurt nothing. Trust me. All right, so we're gonna continue to stretch out these strings, and I'm gonna continue to dial this thing in, and then we are going to continue to have fun tearing this thing up. Keep in mind, this is the blue scale. So many things you can do with the blue scale. You can go 3 notes, 1, 2, 3, back up, 1, 2, 3, back up, 1, 2, 3, back up, 1, 2, 3. So fun. You can do pull-offs. You can do slides. Those are cool. Those are called intervalactic leaps. So here's a trick. Whenever you have this big old fret space, you don't want to put your finger on the back side here, because listen how it sounds. Sounds kind of dead. You want to put your finger right next to the fret. Same thing over here, right next to the fret. Watch what happens when I go down. See how it sounds dead? So you want to put your finger right next to the fret. That's true for any fret, even the skinny ones. Watch this. Right? You want to put your finger right next to the fret. So that's why my finger jumps way up here. And when I slide all the way up to that fret. I don't slide and stop right in the middle. If you did that, you'd sound like this. Yeah, you'd sound like my cat's butt. One more little jam before we plug it in. This is called the foot stomping blues. Ready? I'm just gonna go. Get a little bass drum going on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Foot gets tired after a while. All right, let's plug this thing in. I just so happen to have my little amplifier right here. This is the Vox Mini 5 Rhythm. It's got drum section in it and everything. Cool little amp. Short little cable. These are battery powered. And my gosh, they sound really good, dude. Oh my gosh. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna put all the settings at 12. And then all the effects are off. So you can see there, all the settings are at 12 and the effects are off. I'm gonna just set it right here. So you can see there are no smoke and mirrors. This is just plug straight in. Now the reason why I put this extra fret right here, that's the only extra fret. Otherwise it's a blues scale with an extra fret. That way I can go. And I can also get this chord here. And this chord here. So this here would be the root. This would be the 4 chord. And you can suspend it. This is the 5 chord. Just knowing those 2 chords right there, my gosh, man, you can conquer the world. All right, so I'm gonna play a little ditty here, and I'm gonna use those chords right there. I just got warning that my battery's about to die. So I wanted to encourage you guys here. Check out And We Know. Got the shirt, Christmas ornament, ball cap. I'll put a link in the video description below. I might get demonetized. He's one of those guys that got censored way back when. I did want to encourage you guys. Try your hand at building a cigar box guitar. I'm telling you guys, it's so rewarding. You learn so much in the process, and at the end of the day you come out with an instrument that you can play and have fun with. I would be more than happy to build one for you if you want to become a customer. Yeah, if you want me to build you one, you can contact me. My email is in the video link description below. But if you do decide to build, be sure to use my link, my CBGitty.com link for parts. And like I said, if you use the promo code PuckettCBG, then you're eligible for an extra 10% off. Guys, seriously, man, this is awesome. Thank you guys for watching me. Thank you for taking part in this build, on this journey. Shout out to guys at Padres. This is the commemorative Happy St. Patrick's Day cigar box guitar. I'm also going to call this one the Hulk because it's green. I'm going to continue to dial this thing in and continue to have fun. I'm going to put some strap locks or some strap buttons on it, give it a nice little strap. Of course, I'm going to put my signature hook so I can hang it on the wall like all my others. And then, guys, I'm just going to go to town. And then, like I said, this will be for sale at Padres Cigars in Corrales, New Mexico. First come, first serve. It's gonna go quick. I'm predicting. Guys, be encouraged, and we will see you in the next video. Cheers.